Hi Sarah, how are you? Hello Tracy. Can you hear me and see me all right? Hello Beth. Hello Fiona. Hello Gillian. I was just reading. Your address. I will send them to you. Hello Margaret Rogerson. Hello Margaret Wood and Heather. Hi Heather. I do sometimes think that me being here, like chatting and wasting my paint and paper on you, is almost incidental to the chat. Oh, excellent. Hi from Steve. Hi Steve. Hello Anne. Have I just sent you some paints? Just give me 1 sec. I'll just see what your status is on my I'll just check on my technology. These are all the names of the people and where we're at. Okay, Joan Oliver. Anne Lawson, paid and sent. It works. The technology works. That's great. I'll just put them back. Vanessa, hello. My friend. Oh, it's got there already. That's fantastic, isn't it? Hello, Carol. Hello, Judith. Do you know what? What time is it? I nearly cancelled today. Had a disaster. And then I couldn't see to fix them, which I can't. And obviously I rely on these to make me look sophisticated and intelligent. Your painting is the main thing. So you say. Hello Marianne Ray, I'm just saying today's cancelled, look. But I do have a pair of specs that I read in bed at night with, but they have a flaw. I trod on them not that long ago, so they're absolutely cockeyed. And I'm sorry, all I can do is apologise. This may have to be the end of all painting and all live videos. I keep having to do that with them because I trod on them. Anyway, there. That works. Right, I have a plan for today. I put up on my Instagram and everything a picture of my Light Sussex chickens called Woodlanders, and so many people said, ooh, I like. So I thought, gaffer tape, I might have to. So I thought I'd try one. So I just, I've got some old drawings and photographs and things in front of me, and I've just come up with a really, really simple composition. And you know how I paint them, but I'll show you. Hello Geordie, you always look sophisticated and intelligent. Thank you very much. Sarah, hello. Liz, hello. Did Fifey break them? No, he's not a spectacle breaking sort of person. Hello Carol. Hello Edward. I always think about your ankle when I go for my walks and it hurts like hell, and I think I bet it's hurting Edward as well. Right, on a corner of this piece of paper I will show how I started today's painting, which is Light Sussex. Edward, are you a chicken person? Do you collect poultry? Elastoplast and make me look special. Ian takes children at school. Do you remember when they had those, we called them Nashies, National Trust specs, and they were round, and you got pink ones if you were a girl and blue ones if you were a boy. They were hideous. Right, I'll tip you up and do a quick on a corner of yesterday's paper. Right, hello Louise. Okay. I'll just do it here. Do you remember these are yesterday's Daisy demos? So I've got a very, very weak wash. Remember, that's just called a wash. Paint and paper, paint and water together is wash. That's like a layer. So one of the chickens, again, I used a brush that kind of makes sense for the shape of the size, sorry, that I want them to end up. To be honest, this brush is possibly a tiny little bit too big. So that is how, and that's like the head, and that's where the feet go, and that's the tail. So I've already done that on here. And they're still a little bit damp. So what I'm going to do next is the sort of dramatic red wattles and chollas. So I need to get, I don't usually put a piece of paper on top of the work I'm doing, but otherwise you can't really see what I'm up to. We don't have Mel with us today because Mel has gone to play golf. And she'll catch up later on. But I think it's just lovely that, you know, some people are able to, especially, you know, Mel lives on her own, and I bet she is really, really feeling the isolation. And today's like a really big day for her. I have not got a chicken-shaped brush. Well, welcome to the world of... These glasses aren't even good enough for this job. Oh, lordy. Right, I'm going to use two brushes for this. I use... slightly better. I do need to go on a brush shopping trip soon. Yeah, well, today I'm meeting my regular swim buddy for the first time. It's very exciting. I have permission from the landowner, and we're going to sort of meet distantly. Oh no, that brush is awful. It's got a sort of splayed end. Sorry, I'll just see if I can find something slightly less disgusting and clean it. So I'm really looking forward to bellowing across the waves at my swim buddy. One of them. I've got a few people I regularly swim with, but this one lives up in this area, so okay. So this is a cockerel, and it's sort of looking up, so that's his eye. Oh, you might not be able to see. Marianne Ray, I've got my phone here. Do you have a reminder written on your hand? Yeah, it says Gemma. And that is because a friend of mine called Gemma is getting a set of paints. Her lovely husband is buying them for her. He got in touch yesterday. But I've done it, so that's good. Yeah, so painting straight out of the colour is fairly unusual, I suppose, but I do it. Oh, I don't know whether I like that. Maybe should have done the comb first. Fairly muddyish red. I wish I'd maybe cleaned my brush a bit better. Oh, is that somebody telling me that you can't see what I'm doing? Ah, my live feed is freezing. Oh dear. Don't really know what to do about that. Is it still doing it? Let me just have a look at the internet here. Is it freezing a lot, folks? I'll just quickly see if... Oh, blimey, sorry, I'm just asking Marianne Ray whether it's doing it a lot. It's fine here. Okay, I'll tip you back then. Comes and goes. Oh, I know what I need to do. I've got to turn the internet off upstairs. Look, give me 2 seconds, because what I do is I turn the router off in the house. That was one of the suggestions that the amazing Ian Stevenson suggested. Right, give me 1 second. Don't go away or go away, but I'll be back in a bit. I'm on my way back. Test. Right. Sorry about this. More off than on for me. We'll see how we get on now. I'll tip you up. Okay, so that's that one. And this is a female, so it's obviously got a smaller wattle. And for those of you who are regulars, you'll know that I've got some fresh subjects coming from Dickie Carruthers. Is it working? That's better. Yeah, I don't know whether... It was one of the suggestions to just make sure that any other routers in the house were turned off. So I try and remember every morning to turn it off, because I have it on during the day for the other side of the house. And the main router is in this bit. Right. So there's a very, very nice, well, there's more than one extremely nice painting of a horse on Lockdown Gang. What a talented bunch you are. I think you're putting other people off now. I get little messages from people saying, I love your videos, but I'm not good enough to join the Lockdown Gang. I go, yes, you are. Right, so that's those two. Oh, message. Better. Thank you, Marianne Ray. I appreciate that. Which just goes to show, because, you know, the thing about the internet, you can't see it, can you? And someone says, oh, you know, turn the router off in the house. You think, oh, really? And it's worked. But you can't sort of see that it's worked. I don't know whether I told you, I got a new television, which is standing on the table in the kitchen with the handbook and the remote control next to it, because the chap at Robson and Cowan, which is where I bought it from, just not far from here, the country store, as I mentioned, you can buy chicken feed and cookers and televisions, ride-on lawnmowers, pig netting, mouse traps, paint, and lots of things. Anyway, the guy who installs there's a chap called Tony who's the telly man. We've been trying to link up with each other so that he can talk me through the setup, and failing. I think that's maybe a tiny bit too small. Okay, so you can see how we're beginning to just do these two, and then we can go on to more broad brush stuff. Swap brushes. Give him his little white ear. I might have this one sort of cock-a-doodle doing, in which case okay. Chesty Morgan. Who's Chesty Morgan? Somebody said to me, was it last week? I don't know how you paint and talk. Well, I can't always, so there we go. Oh, right. Here, so the eye wants to be there. So easy just to make a pig's ear of it, or a chicken's eye of it. I think I've made the eyes too big really, because they do have beady little eyes, but I can always make these sort of oh, frickin' heck, dirty paint. Can you see? This isn't very exciting at all, I'm sorry. Okay. Right, so I'm going to get a big brush and start what's the word? Just getting a bit of body and shadow, that's the word, onto these lovely birds that I am very much looking forward to having in the flesh here soon. Right, so the colour of the shadow is really a sort of bluey green, because it'll be a reflection of what is below it. So I'm just kind of playing around to make sure I've sort of got the right colour. So I'm just putting a bit of shadow in the lower reaches of all of these birds. Not a massive amount. It's just a first layer of, I suppose, depth. Oh, I don't think you can see that, sorry. Okay. hen that is pecking the ground, same thing. Does anyone else find watching MAL strangely hypnotic? That's quite funny. Hypnotise you all. Oh, message. All right. Celia, who you will all know from lockdown. Celia is the lady who got paints last week for the very, very first time, painted an unusual lily that I can't remember the name of, and some bluebells. And I think, unless she's a big fat liar, which I know she isn't, she says it's the first time she's done anything since she was at school, and that really is quite something. Anyway, she came this morning. I didn't see her, and she dropped, they're just over there, in a bright green bag. She dropped off some of her bluebell bulbs, which is really kind of, I don't know why she doesn't want to keep them, but anyway. I always want to say, Celia, Celia, we'd all love to feel you. Like Delia, you know, Delia Smith Cook. Delia, Delia, we'd all love to feel you. Okay. Right, so they've all got a little bit of, I'll just turn it around so it makes a bit more sense. Ooh. All beginning to get a little bit more form. I think what you can do at this point while it's still a bit wet is maybe just pick up a bit of paint off my board. I don't know whether you can see that. Yes, you can. I see the hold up. I know it's my tad more Nigella. Nigella, Nigella, I bet you'd love a new fella. While it's wet, add a bit more depth of colour. Nice. Well, I think it's quite nice. Right. Medium-sized brush for beak. Scrap of paper, always. So why is the brush that I want to do something light with always caked in a really dark colour? I've just found a little bit of yellow. Oh look, I've got there's some yellow on my, it's not actually my palette knife, but don't waste paint. That's my advice, because there's a huge amount on there. I'm just picking up some slightly darker bits. Okay, they've got their beaks, so that's good. What about legs? Light Sussex legs are pink, but I don't really like pink on legs. So I'm going to go for something that's a little bit in between pink and yellow. Where did I put that card? I wonder what I did that I showed you. Oh well, lost it. Okay. Obviously I'm taking a little bit more care because this is a bit of a commitment. It is a big piece of paper. You know, it's quite a... I do intend this to sort of be a... Try and mentally work out where the leg wants to be so that it would actually stand on it. That one's like to be coming down like that. Okay, so I need to establish where the legs are at this point because I'd quite like to start looking at the background, and I would have these chickens in very much the sort of background that I see them in, which is straight in front of me: greenery, trees, shrubs, grass. So I can begin a background wash, and then that's like the start of that, and I can start building it up. Can you still see me? I just finished my more important meeting in time to save time. Jules, you're going to be going to the naughty step. Why, thank you. I've been missing to just chat amongst yourselves. Like I say, I think I'm just incidental sometimes. Right, so I'm going to go for a bluey green in the background over the top, and I'll probably have a more sappy green, warmer colour in the foreground. And as usual, I will opt to save money and just use some of the paint. I'm lifting it from there and putting it into the lovely big middle dish because I'll need quite a lot of paint. It doesn't need to be strong. This is really just quite a pale-ish sort of a wash, which I will test. I suppose I can start. Right. I need to put this somewhere because I'll be sploshing back and forth, and I don't particularly want to splosh it onto the white bits of the chickens. Anyway, this is my biggest brush, which is very big. See how I've just made that chicken's neck a bit fatter? it just somehow didn't work for me. I need to go over here as well. I don't know whether you can see. And I'm not giving you much witty chat or repartee today, but that's because I'm concentrating. And I haven't really got anything very amusing to say. I have to say, you know, when I'm establishing like the flow and the relationships in a, you know, bigger painting like this, just need to keep looking right across from one side to the next, and make sure it's balancing. And there's very much like a flow and a relationship here that I've made decisions about. You know, I've made the decision to have these two cockles, this one kind of looking up and back, and this one going forwards and doing its own thing. And then the hens just, you know, going their own way and feeding. And it's not really accident. This, you know, the composition of something like this is, it's got a bit more thought than, say, you know, showing you how to maybe include some daisies in a bigger painting. A lot of my work really does have quite a bit to do with, like, I think, masculinity and this sort of, and like, you know, classic perceptions of what maleness and masculinity is, and they're not necessarily how it appears, but you can do these things in, you know, with chickens or animals, and yeah, I quite like the being able to include things like dominance and strength and like maleness in a way that's totally acceptable, just within a painting of chickens. And, you know, cockerels that are just so much more colourful and vibrant, and you could literally just watch them all day long, whereas hens are slightly less compelling, I think. I don't want you to think I'm sort of sexist or anything, on the contrary, but they are themes that you can deal with in your work, like, you know, painting. Okay, so I'm sorry if it's just like boring. It really is like watching paint dry. But so we've got quite a nice flow going on. I get a slightly smaller brush, and I'm starting to think about this woodland behind it will have dark areas. So I'm mixing a little bit of, finding bits of colour in all of my my many palettes. And here you can sort of do what you like, really. It'll be, I'm thinking of like it being darker here, like at this level. I cannot believe the time. And unless I get tempted, like really, really tempted to do stuff to it, I could leave it at this point and come back to it. Not tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to pressure wash out the stables. That is my plan. Another thing you can do at this point, actually, I'm just going to get a little brush and join up Not that little brush, it's got a very strange colour on the end. Join up like where the, I don't want the beak to join the neck of that cockerel, so join up those two areas. Then it can flow. Yeah. The paint can move around. I'm going to tip you up and see if you've been frozen all this time. So you haven't been frozen, you've just been like chatting about squirrels. I've done that winning job. You've already done it. Do you come and do mine? Yes, but when I stand on my hands for the entire show, all the blood rushes to my head. I turn it around. Okay, so we've established the composition, and I'm quite happy at that point. And quite frankly, to do that under the pressure of you lot watching is anyway, I think that's probably about enough for today. Was I going to say something? There's a bit of paint on there. Let me check my notes. Why can't MAR paint upside down? Do you know, the friend of mine who does the plant potting on and everything, that's Catherine Norris, Northumbrian Flowers, she has a setup like there, but so that people can see her and what she's doing. And if I thought, oh right, it just says Light Sussex. That's okay. So today was being devoted to Light Sussex. If anybody's got any great ideas about, thank you, I know, you'd have thought she'd have learnt by now. Helen Henderson, about whom are you talking? It's going paler already, but I just want to show you something. I have got the wrong side of the paper. This is not my favourite side of the paper. It's, how can you see? It looks a bit like linen. There's a clear crisscross where the paint is. You can see it in certain places down there, just at the very bottom where the beak is. Now, I prefer the other side of this paper, but when I get it out of the drawer, I can't always tell. I mean, it'll be fine, but you know, lovely. Thank you. You're painting upside down, man, woman, man. I know there's no perfect way. Maybe I just ought to give up this live video lark. I have to say, this is really, really annoying. And I can't just go to an optician and get another pair, and I don't even know what the prescription is. I don't want to go around with flipping plasters on my... I think somebody's... Anyway. Right, well, I think I'm going to go now, have my packet asparagus soup, and then put this to one side so that I don't do any more until I see you tomorrow, and then work on my big, big flower painting. Anyway, it's been a delight once again. Have a great day, and I'll see you on Sunday. Bye.